Quick notice before I start the video. I don't know what my schedule is going to be like for these videos. I keep saying that, I know, I keep saying, oh, I can do once a week. Oh, but wait, no, I'll do twice a week. And it's all very disorganized. Trust me, things are as hectic as they seem. So I really can't guarantee how regular these videos are going to be, but my aim is once a week, but don't be surprised if there's if I miss a week, because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. A lot of stuff. And I'm not comfortable going into detail on talking, but if you follow my blog, this is not a plug, by the way, if you follow my blog, I talk about it in my blog a bit, but yeah, I can't guarantee regular videos, but I'm trying for once a week, and if I miss it, please don't unsubscribe, I'm still here. I just need some more time. Thank you. This has been an Erin Kern channel PSA. Is it okay to enjoy problematic media? It's an interesting question for sure. One that I think has become very prominent in media debates. People seem to have gotten this idea, and I don't know whether it's recent or whether it's been around for a really long time, but people seem to have gotten this idea that if you enjoy a piece of media that could be considered problematic, then you are supporting that behaviour, or you encourage it, or you're in support of it, and you would, if you saw that behaviour happening in real life, you would enjoy it and take pleasure from it, that kind of thing. You get the idea of what I'm going for here. And because of that, people have become afraid to talk about pieces of media that they like that could be considered controversial or problematic or not exactly vanilla, as we call it. And I think that's very bad. Personally, I think that's very bad. Media is not supposed to be telling one story. It's not supposed to be this chocolate-covered land where it rains marshmallows and the rivers are made of lemonade and everything's just so happy and so positive and everything is just swell and everything is just great. That is actually the complete opposite of what our media, modern media, is supposed to represent. Movies, books, TV shows, comics, mangas, animes, everything that we consume is not supposed to tell one story. It's not supposed to tell one theme of story. It's not supposed to tell one mood of story. And just because someone enjoys consuming one of these things that is not always happy and not always positive and not always, just genuinely great, that doesn't mean they support it. But it does mean that they're enjoying the story and they're enjoying the journey, or they're enjoying the characters or the complexities of what's going on in the piece of media or the story or the movie, blah, 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 blah. But recently there's been a lot of judgment and blaming, and people are saying, you can't like this, or if you like this, you're homophobic because this is what's going on, that's bad, or if you like this, you're racist because this happens to a black guy in that story and that's not good, that is racist. And it turns into a big mess, in my opinion, a big massive clusterfuck of a mess, because for one thing, I've talked about this before, you can't tell people what they can and can't enjoy. You can't tell people what they are or aren't. You can't come up to me and say, hey, you're a homophobe, when you don't know me or you don't know my actions towards other people. Just because I like something, you can't say that I'm a homophobe unless it was something that actively says gay people are bad, you know what I mean? So it's thought policing. It is thought policing at its best. So as per usual, I'm going to provide an example. I've talked about this before. I think it was in my lack of conversation video I talked about this. I'm a massive fan of Cookie's manga Killing Stalking. I'm a big fan of this manga because of the complexity of the storyline. I am so interested in the fact that there's this sociopath and there's this unhinged boy, and they're both thrown together in this way, and it's telling the story of how the boy who had thought that he was in love with this guy before he knew he was a sociopath is now stuck with him because the sociopath has kidnapped him, basically. He won't let him out of his house. And it becomes a story of Stockholm Syndrome and different mental health issues coming into play, because clearly the guy who kidnapped the other boy is clearly unhinged. He's clearly a sociopath. He's a psychopath. He's killed multiple people. He is a murderer. There's obviously something not right going on upstairs. But the reason that people don't like Killing Stalking, and the reason that there's this big massive controversy surrounding the story, is because the characters, they're both gay. Get it out there now. They're both bisexual men. And I say bisexual, they both showed interest in men and women. I don't want to get into the whole, I don't know, omnisexual, panromantic. Let's just say that they're both bisexual for the means of this video. So they're both bisexual. And they're both complicated characters. Neither of them are good people. One is a sociopath, a psychopath, a murderer, and a rapist. The other is a stalker, an entitled stalker who believes that because of trauma in his past, he believes that he has the right to break into someone's house. Because that's how he gets kidnapped. He broke into this guy's house. So he's a criminal too. And yeah, he's not great either. They're both not good characters. They're both bad people. And that's what draws me towards it, because it makes you think, because you don't know who well, obviously you're not on the side of the murderer, but you're not on the side of, you can't completely be on the side of the other guy either, because he's not completely blameless either. And it's just a story telling the journey of what's going on between them, and hopefully building towards the murderer, getting caught and getting arrested and getting thrown into prison. But the reason that people don't like this is because they're saying that it's perpetuating a stereotype about gay people, about the LGBT community, and the violence in it is unnecessary and gratuitous, and it's people, and the woman who wrote it is obviously exploiting the gore and the violence and trying to make something that isn't really necessary into this big thing. For one thing, this manga wouldn't have gotten popular if people weren't interested in it. And I'm not going to sit here and deny that there probably aren't. There probably are people who are interested in it for the torture porn, because the psychopath isn't just going to leave the guy in a room and be like, oh, well, he's there. There is going to be some nasty shit going on. And a lot of nasty shit does go on in the manga, and I find those bits hard to read, but I recognise them as necessary because the guy's a psychopath. They're not going to be sitting playing top trumps together, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, if you want to make a story realistic, then you have to portray it in a realistic manner, and because this story is in the form of a visual medium, it makes it seem a lot more exploitative, or if that's the word, or glorifying. That's what people say. They say it glorifies it, which I disagree with, because glorifying means that you're presenting something in a glorious light. You're saying, oh, isn't this great? Isn't this fantastic? We should all be doing this. And I don't know about any of you guys if you have read Killing Stalking or not, but never once does any of them go, isn't murder swell? Isn't the fact that I'm being raped fantastic? Isn't all this torture just great? Shouldn't everyone be doing it? You know what I mean? It's not glorifying it. And if you take the mindset that portraying violence in any type of form is glorifying it, then what about horror movies? How did Saw become a thing? How are we going to watch any horror movie ever if all of a sudden portraying murder or violence or rape, how are we going to tell any story that isn't completely happy and depicts trauma? How are we going to tell these stories if all of a sudden, if it's exploitation, it's glorifying? How is any controversial or interesting story ever going to come to light if the thought police are going to come barreling in every time something slightly graphic or slightly gory or slightly violent come into the mix and just say that it's wrong and we can't make it anymore and we can't watch it because all of us are we're supporting violence. I've been called a homophobe because I like killing, stalking, because these two guys are bisexual men and they're both not good people. Gay people? Not all of them are good. This is news to fucking me. I thought we were all fantastic. I thought every single gay person in the LGBT community was just the perfect example of human specimen. I thought we were all stable. I thought we all never murdered anyone. We never hurt anyone. We never called anyone names. We never bullied. We're perfect. Apparently, the LGBT community, everyone in it is perfect. And we can't be depicted as anything less because that's homophobic. Do you get what I'm getting at here? Arguing that something is homophobic because you are depicting them in a negative light. I never read Killing Stalking and thought, well, fuck, all the bisexual men are psychopaths, all of them are murderers, all of them are stalkers, and I will bet my bottom dollar that no one thought that. No one who read the manga thought, well, this is what all the LGBT community is like, this is what everyone's like. And I'm in support of the author for choosing to make these people gay characters in her manga because, yes, we need more representation of LGBT in media, but we need proper equal representation. We need to see good characters like Malik. We need to see evil characters like Sangwoo and Yumbun from Killing Stalking. We need to see characters who are gay, who go through complex storylines, who may not be all there in the head, who might be psychopaths, who might be a saint, who might be a good Samaritan, who might be the evilest person on the planet. Your sexuality does not equate to how good or bad you are as a person, and no one, at least nowadays, consumes a media of a particular way and goes, well, gee, that must mean that all the gay people are evil, because no, we don't. So is there any example of a problematic media where it's kind of wrong? And I'm not going to be the fault police either. If you don't like Killing, Stalking, or any other problematic media, I'm not going to try and change your mind, because I'm not the thought police either. Go ahead, dislike it, think I'm a homophobe, whatever. It's not going to change the fact that I'm not a homophobe, but think what you want. You're free to think what you want. Freedom of speech is a beautiful thing, isn't it? But is there an example where it's kind of problematic media? Well, let's take a look at 50 Shades of Grey. This franchise. 50 Shades of Grey is an example of something that is supposed to be is the actual example of glorification of something. 50 Shades of Grey not only misrepresents the practice of BDSM, which is bondage, domination, submission, and masochism, if I can pronounce that properly. Not only does it represent that practice, but it presents the behaviour of Mr. Grey as completely normal and romantic. And there are hundreds of thousands of women out there who have read and consumed 50 Shades of Grey and who think, wow, I want a Mr. Grey. Have you seen the Mr. Grey merchandise? Oh my lord. You don't see that for Killing Stalking. At least I hope. You don't see slippers out there that say, oh, Sangwoo will see you now. And if that exists, I'm just done. Why would you want that? It has become a habit for fans to do this thing where they idolize villains and they idolize people who are controversial and evil in media. Take American Horror Story. There's a character called Tate. I think it's in Murder House. My cousin was one of the people who were like, oh, isn't Tate just great? Like, just me at the back of the classroom. Excuse me, did he not murder loads of people? Yes. Oh, why do you want him? I'm sorry. And it happens with Shadowhunters as well. Sebastian Morgenstern in the books is one of the most romanticized characters. Loads of people want their own Sebastian Morgenstern. Why? He's evil. He murders people. People want the Joker to their Harley Quinn. Why? They're evil. they're bad people. It's a bad relationship. It's toxic. It's toxic. And like right here, you can see my Suicide Squad poster, and I like Suicide Squad, but not because I want a Joker to my Harley. It's because I enjoy the representation of Harley's, and Harley in particular's Stockholm Syndrome and the stuff that she goes through and endures at the Joker's hands. As long as it's not portrayed as, isn't this great? To be fair, I did have a problem with how Suicide Squad presented their relationship, but that's for another video. And I think it's become a thing where people look at the reactions of fans and immediately blame the entire fandom. This is, I've noticed with Killing Stalking in particular, because people say that everyone who reads Killing Stalking, they're homophobe, and they support violence, and they're albiest, and they're just horrible, horrible people. And I'm not going to sit here and deny that there aren't people who read stories like Killing Stalking for the torture and for the murder and for the graphic happenings that go on. I am not an idiot. I know there are people out there who idolize the psychopath character, who love him and want to be with him. There are these people crazy enough to do that these days. If anyone watches Shane Dawson, you know that there's someone out there who makes YouTube videos about how they're in love with Elliot Rodger, that guy who shot down all those people in America. There are people out here in the world who are fucked up. And they enjoy fucked up things, and they try to glorify it. They're the ones who try and present it as a good thing. But the media itself never did. I never saw anything in Killing Stalking. Maybe I'm missing something. I never saw anything in Killing Stalking that glorified violence or presented it in a way that it was supposed to be acceptable. It is a bit difficult because it is viewed through the eyes of Yoon Boom, who has Stockholm Syndrome, and that's what makes it all the more fascinating to me. But I've never seen anything where while he's being tortured going, oh, isn't this great? Isn't this swell? Shouldn't everyone be doing this? You know what I mean? It's the fans who do that. It's the fans who are the ones who create the fan art and write the stories and are the ones who glorify what goes on. And I'm sorry, but I'm not taking responsibility for crazy people's actions. I enjoy the story for the Stockholm Syndrome and the complex storyline and the complex characters. I am not taking responsibility for the people who are reading it because they want to be strangled by Osangwoo in his basement, because I don't even want to meet those people, to be honest. I don't. And I'm sure there are so many people involved in the DC fandom who don't want to take responsibility for the people who idolize the Joker and Harley's relationship and want it for themselves. We're all getting banded as a group for the actions of individuals. Everyone who I've encountered on Tumblr, whether it be for Suicide Squad, Killing Stalking, whatever is considered problematic, everyone I've encountered are consuming the media for the right reasons. They're doing it for the storyline, for the characters, for the complexity of what's going on. I have thankfully never encountered anyone who's going, ooh, isn't it great? Don't you just want to get murdered so hard by the Joker? Or don't you want to get murdered so hard by Osangwoo? Because one thing, I would block those people immediately. They're like serial killers in the making. But I would get angry because they're the people who are causing these SJWs to come at me and say, oh, you're a homophobe, you killed Stalking. It's like, I don't have the energy for this. I don't have the energy to explain to you why me, a lesbian, is not homophobic, because I actually had an argument with someone about Killing Stalking on Tumblr, and they said to me, you're a homophobe, you can't comment on gay issues as a straight person. And I was like, oh, well, isn't that great, I'm a lesbian. And he was just like, yeah, but you're a lesbian, you can't comment on the problems of gay men. And I was like, it's like, oh my lord, there's always something, isn't there? Always something. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to say here is that I'm not going to take responsibility for the actions of the crazy people in the fandoms. I am not going to let myself get defined by the psychopaths in themselves who like to watch torture porn or like to read things because of the graphic happenings and aren't really in it for the characters or the complexity of the story. I'm not going to take responsibility for them, But I'm also not going to condemn the media itself, whatever it may be, just because there are people who are interpreting it wrong or taking it the wrong way. Because that's not fair. That's not right. And I hear there's some controversy with Coogie, the author of Killing Stalking, and I don't have the energy to get involved in that. But if it is something really, really, really bad, it might turn me off, but I haven't heard anything really. From what I've seen, she's a lovely woman, but I haven't seen a lot, so yeah, please don't define me by the actions of the others. And by the others, I mean the crazy people. I know there's plenty of people like me who are reading it for the right reasons, but no. So that's it for this week. Next time, I'm not going to say next week, next time I'll be making a video on censorship in fandom, because I think it ties nicely with this video, and I did get a request from a viewer to do a video on shit lists, so I will be working on that for whenever that time may be. But for now, I'll see you whenever, guys. Check out my social media, check out my blog if you want to get bitterly depressed. All the links are in the description, and I'll see you next time, guys. And remember, I'm not a homophobe. You are. No, I'm just kidding. Just don't define me by the actions of the crazy people in my fandoms, because I'm not taking responsibility for them, okay? Thanks.